Let's talk about the interplay between the product backlog and the sprint backlog. One of the very handy ways to visualize this is the product backlog, just a long list of things, a sprint backlog, a Kanban board, right? And during the planning, what happens? Very simply, put it simply, is this: the team pulls items into their backlog, and then they break that down into tasks and little items, or they figure out how they're going to achieve this goal. What is great about this is that the order of the backlog and the order of the sprint backlog are one and the same, right? So you know that this language here of whatever's on top is more important and whatever's on the bottom is less important than one above it. It's reproduced on both sides, right? So it's quite handy to do it this way. And most tools online have the same type of view. Azure DevOps will have this backlog view, and then the sprint backlog view that is just this, or a task board view that is the whole thing here. So all of these simple concepts are translated in a bunch of tools all over the place. And then what happens during the sprint? The team is picking up the tasks, just putting it on done. I'm working on this, and then okay, that's done. I'm picking up the next one, and this goes on. Why is this useful? Because you don't need to create a status report. Just the team having their conversations, their daily alignments, create the status report, right? And you don't need any extra graphs or anything. Just as simple as this, you can see how the sprint is going by seeing, how the tasks are moving here, right? If all the tasks in the bottom item were done and the ones in the most important one are not even started, you can see that, okay, why is the team working on the bottom one? Or that if it's the last day before the end of the sprint, the first PBI is unlikely to get done. So you can tell a lot by just a simple visual Kanban board like this. All right, so this is the simple theoretical situation. Now let's bring it to reality. First thing is, you probably already have a bunch of operational stuff you need to do. And you're getting emails, calls, ticket requests, whatever it might be. But whatever it is that you have a bunch of, requests jumping in, appearing here after you did the planning. You cannot plan for these. These are just part of your service. You just have to do them, right? So how do we handle this? Okay. First is we visualize this, right? And then by visualizing this, we can start asking questions to this thing. Okay, is this more important than that, or more important than this one? So it already can fight for priority between all of these items, right? So that itself is a good first conversation. If it ends up being saying, okay, this is less important than everything else, well, can you wait? We can do it after, right? And then we can plan these items. Okay, so that's the one scenario. Let's say that this cannot wait is the highest priority. This is what we have agreed so far with the team. This is part of our legacy. We need to do this, right? So the one thing I'll do here is to create a lane for it and just start populating the lane with those requests. Those are just things that we're going to do. The team will pick that up, move that on, and again, because we have the simple language of order, whatever's on top to bottom, and then also now we have this extra layer here of left to right. As a team member, how I scan the board for things to do is I first look here, then I'm going to look here, if not I'll look there, if not here, there, and you kind of zigzag your way through the board to see what can I work on, right? This is the very simple, kind of simplifying some of these more complex things on what to work on next. All right, so let's say we have that. Now, at the end of the sprint, let's imagine that the team has got all the requests done, and now we're doing a bit of taking our sprint one items, just looking at what has been done. And the first thing that we have here is that we can take all of those requests and say, okay, this is what we have done, right? I imagine that a lot of times these requests are just so taken for granted that we don't even talk to stakeholders about what has been done so far. So this is the first way for us to create some awareness of what has been done. So what is the stakeholder gonna say? Wow, great, you did the request, that's just your job. What about the projects that are, the most important project here? How come you couldn't finish? Well, we couldn't finish because we were working on these things. Okay, we need to find a way for, we need to start having a conversation about finishing this so that these requests don't happen. Okay, great. This has helped us to look at why are we not finishing this? How can we buy some space, some time for us to do this before the requests, right? A simple way to do it is to say, okay, next sprint, what we're actually going to do is this. We're going to prioritize this lane, most important of all, and any new requests that come in, let's say that there were a couple more requests that came in, they go here. They belong on the third lane. So we're now going to work on this thing here, and when that is done, we'll pick up work from here. Right? So this is one alternative. You can look at some other ways here. Let's say that this lane of requests, we're going to give it a SLA gold. Let's say that not everything is the highest priority, right? And some requests are the gold SLA, right? So whenever we get them, we say, "Oh, this is a gold SLA. This is a gold SLA." But this one here is not. This is part of our silver SLA. And that silver SLA, we're going to do, well, let's have a conversation about that. Is that more important than this? Well, maybe not more important than that, so we can do something like this, right? So now you have all your operational stuff clearly reflected on your board, fighting for priority between your project work and your normal operational work. And this way, as a team, again, you can visualize, okay, I pick up stuff from here, and I go down this way here, and it's very simple for me to know what to work on next. Okay? And some other ideas that we can do in here. So, look, we know that we're going to get a lot of issues here in SLA Gold. So let's say that we have, there's so many slots there. We have 0 out of 4. We commit, we align with the stakeholders, say, look, we're going to do whatever requests come in here, we're going to do no more than 4 of them. So let's say the sprint started and the first one showed up, we say, okay, 1 of 4. All right, we start working on this, we might get it done. Another one shows up, okay, now that's 2 of 4. Right? And it goes on until maybe the team does all of them and say, okay, look, now we finish all of this. There's a new request coming in here. So look, this is a compromise that we have reached. We agree on not doing it or postpone it or maybe pushing it out to the silver SLA. That's fine. We're going to work on this task here first, on this item here first, before we pick up anything here. But at least this way you create some clarity, visual clarity with your stakeholders to see, what is it that the team is working on. Okay.